Welcome back to the channel, everybody, and I hope you're doing fine. So the event is over, and it seems like we're back to Vanilla Hunt, or almost back to Vanilla Hunt. There are a few changes, a few things they actually kept, and there are one or two things that are new. As always, timestamps in the description below, and I would say, let's start. The first thing I want to talk about are pledge marks. So pledge marks are still in the game. You can still find sealed items, for example traits, but also the envelopes, cash registers and other stuff. But it's a little bit more tricky to get these pledge marks right now, because you cannot get them anymore over event points, because no event points. Kinda obvious, isn't it? But how do we get pledge marks then? And there are currently two sources to get pledge marks. And one way to get pledge marks is the pledge mark envelope. They are kind of rare, however, we have something new we're gonna talk about in a bit, and that thing will always have a pledge mark envelope. And the second option is that you loot them from players that you killed or found in the wild, and for whatever reason, they still have pledge marks. That's kind of it. So you can't gather any more 25 event points to get the pledge marks. Bosses don't give pledge marks. Winning Soul Survivor doesn't give pledge mark as far as I know. Now, you also carry over the pledge mark. So if you had, or if you have right now, still after the event, some hunters that have pledge marks from the previous event, they carry over. So there you go. That's how you can get pledge marks. We also mentioned the pledge mark envelopes, and they are now 100% spawn at a themed supply point. So I would say we jump now to that topic, themed supply points. So let's talk now about something new, the themed supply points. Now, there are multiple, and some of them have like 100% spawn rate. At least when I tested it, they were always there. For example, the Postal supply point. That thing, whenever I went into a mission, I think I went into a dozen, it always spawns. And that thing has an assortment of sealed envelopes and a guaranteed pledge mark envelope. So you have your regular envelopes to loot. There will also be 3 dark side boost, the 4-shot boon, and I think it's also hunter XP. They're always there. And that thing is also the most reliable way to get your pledge marks right now, because otherwise it's a little bit tricky, since, well, you can only loot it from other people and they must have pledge marks, otherwise there is obviously nothing to loot. So these Postal supply points, they're amazing. They, first of all, have a lot of fluff. They have a lot of, you know, they fit Hunt Showdown. And it's really difficult to get new stuff for the game, in my opinion. Especially with the game now being, what, 8 years old, and they still find ways to get something new. So I absolutely love these themed supply points with the Postal supply point. But there are 2 more. The next one we're going to talk about is the Clockmaker's supply point. And that thing has the Destiny style, a chance of a tarot card, and the chance of a sealed bounty. So they can spawn together with the Postal supply points. So in case you don't have any pledge marks, you go to the Postal supply point first, you get the envelope for your pledge marks, and then you go over to the Clockmaker supply point, and then you get some sealed stuff from over there, if you so fancy. Keep in mind, you can also use the pledge marks to just get the regular stuff that is on the map. We're going to talk about that in a second, because there's one more supply point that I want to talk about. And that is the sealed Hoard. And the final supply point that we can talk about is the Sealed Hoard. So the Sealed Hoard has a chance of a scarce weapon ammo box. You can also get a full ammo resupply, and the ammo resupply also gives all your tools back. And this is also where you can find a health restoration kit. Okay, so let's talk about this a little bit. I like that the Postal supply point is always there, at least during my tests, so I assume it's always there. The Clockmakers and the Sealed Hoard are kind of, yeah, okay, they're not always there, but the most important thing is that you have access to pledge marks. So these Postal supply points will definitely be, at least for the, you know, the next couple of days, a hot zone when it comes to PvP. Also be careful, Dark Dynamite Satchels and Alert Mines, this is a very, very common combo when Crytek adds something new to the game and everybody goes there and wants to check it out, and then you suddenly go kaboom. Would be a little bit of a shame. And before we jump to something else that is new, I want to talk about this here right now. So I was concerned that the Bile Weaver nests will be gone. They're still there. Well, Bile Weaver nest is not correct. We're talking here about the Bile Weaver corruption that transforms the compounds. And this is something that I'm really happy that they kept, because it's not really about the Bile Weavers. I don't really care about that, or, you know, the webbed body or the tower card. It's about changing the attack and defend paths in compounds. And especially the compounds that had the most drastic changes, for example Fort Karmic, where you can just take the ramps and go all the way to the top. That's huge. And this is something that I want to see more of in the future. Break up these old compounds that we're already super familiar with and give us something nice to play around with. Okay, so I just want to talk about that because I saw a lot of comments where people were concerned that this is gone. Still in the game. Let's go to the next point. Something else has entered the bayou, and it's going to be something new. So we get a new story challenge, and that's going to be the Game of Skill. So let's have a look at that. So you buy this with BBs, and you can buy it for a limited time. Now keep in mind, once you bought it, or at least you should, you can finish that thing whenever you want to. Crytek faced quite a bit of backlash. The last time they did, you know, the premium limited time thingy, and people were like, well, I spent a lot of money and then I cannot even finish whenever I want to. So I'm pretty sure you can finish this one whenever you want. It's just crucial about the, you know, limited time to buy. Let's put it that way. Now I would say we have a look at the rewards. And this is what you get for 1,250 BBs. We start with something not very exciting. We get some hunt dollars, we get some bloodline XP, there will be a badge unlock, more hunt dollars. Then we get actually a Centennial, and then finally we get something interesting. We get the Iron Shot Bandit. And while the skin is not really for me, I'm happy that it's not another pitch black or very gray skin. And that's why I'm a bit curious, how often will we see this guy actually in the bayou? Then we get a little bit more coin, assigned sparks, a frame unlock, more XP and hunt dollars, and then we get finally a new cavalry saber. And I was surprised to see a saber, because the katana exists and the katana kinda just outperforms the saber. But hey, I love a fancy saber skin. Then we have more XP, hunt dollars, a weapon charm, 3 concertina bombs, and then something interesting, a first aid kit. Clean, nice, fancy. Afterwards, some bit shots, an avatar unlock, more hunt dollars, a title, Mosins, and then at the end, a Mosin Nagant. Actually, a pretty cool skin. Yeah, so another Mosin skin. I personally might just get this one for the legendary saber skin. A bit excessive maybe, but I'm gonna take the other skins too. And then I'd say we have a look at what do you actually need to do to unlock your rewards. So the first chapter is very basic stuff, collect clues or locate boss target lairs. So this is something that you just get by playing. The same thing is with extract hunt dollars. So this is something that you can do maybe in one match when you get lucky with a sealed cash register. So don't forget to go to the pledge mark envelope. And then the third one also doesn't really affect your playstyle, just deal damage to enemy hunters. Chapter 2 gets slightly more tricky. You need to deal damage on enemy hunters using traps or consumables. I don't exactly know how it works with red barrel alert trap by combos, but consumables, honestly, frag bombs and other stuff will just be your best friend. And then something that will actually cut a little bit into your playstyle is deal damage to enemy hunters using weapons with silencers. I mean, I enjoy playing silencers. Some of them, most of them, even after the suppressor nerf. I expect we will see a lot of Maynard sniper silencers. Yay. But lately I saw again a few more Science Vedalies or Science Sparks. And keep in mind you can also take a Science Sparks pistol and other stuff. There is quite the fun silencer arsenal in Hunt Showdown. And then we have loot hunters, purses or cash registers and gain XP with hunters. So nothing too tragic. And then since we have a cavalry saber skin, how about we play it a little bit? You need to get 5 kills with that. Honestly, with a cavalry saber, it's not as bad as doing it with the railroad hammer, for example. That was a little bit annoying. A saber is not too bad. Then you have to deal damage to enemy hunters using shotguns. Not really a big issue for me because I'm a close range player anyway lately. And if you really don't want to play super close range shotguns, pick some flechette and be annoying at mid range and gather your damage this way. Also pretty suppressive when you play in teams. Then you need to banish targets or activate Wellsprings. This is something that you get again just by playing the game. And then make enemy hunters bleed. So get your custom ammo dum-dum, but keep in mind that other stuff applies bleed too. You can place a crap ton of concertina trip mines, or maybe you ask somebody to repeatedly step into your concertina bomb. And the final chapter, well, restore health for yourself or for your teammates. That is easy peasy. Deal damage to enemy hunters using long ammo. Makes kinda sense because, well, one skin is the Mosin. Then you need to kill monsters with melee damage. That's also something that you just get by playing. Same with extract with 2 or more bounty tokens. And then at the end, land headshots on enemy hunters using rifles. So except the long ammo, I don't see anything too restrictive here, which I kinda like. Yeah, and that's it for today. As always, YouTuber begging for attention in case you like these podcasts or these, you know, info dumps for you, updates about what's happening in Hunt Showdown. A like would be appreciated. And don't forget to sub. Don't miss any future updates. And then I would like to share my 2 cents at the end real quick because people always ask me what I think about this. Yeah, of course, I was actually surprised that we didn't get now a big event because Murder Circus and Core, in my opinion, was already a small event because we had that already once and they upgraded that. So I was expecting something right now, and well, we have now a few new things, but nothing drastic, nothing really wow. So yeah, we probably have to wait a little bit longer. I'm okay with that. Some people like Vanilla Hunt, some people are like, Vanilla Hunt, I don't want Vanilla Hunt. I'm more like, give me the new exciting stuff, but I'm also a veteran player. I'm somewhere between 9 and 10,000 hours in the game. So you can't really excite me that much anymore with Vanilla Hunt. But yeah, let me know in the comment section below what you think about it. And also tomorrow or in 2 days I will discuss the 15-player lobbies because I get that question during the stream every 10 minutes. So we definitely need to talk about that. And I want to just use this outro here real quick to say thank you to my patrons. You guys are, as always, amazing. It's still crazy every month when I update this wall and I'm like, there's still so many people supporting. There's so many people they support for years. It's crazy. I see this and I appreciate that. Okay, you guys are amazing. And then as always, my link tree. Maybe you want to check something out. Other socials, maybe the VOD channel that is finally up to date again. And then more videos. Yesterday, we also released a new Hunger Missive video. Maybe you want to check that out. And with that, I'll see you in the next one. Until then, have a good day and bye-bye.